the jams. So, good morning, folks. Me and my wife were talking just now about keeping the doors off the jams with the little, I don't know what the hell you call them, springs. She just tripped one of them in the hall, and I just found it funny. So, good morning, one and all. Sunday morning here. Was it a little bit before 11 o'clock? Um, Dan Mullen on the hot seat. Dan Mullen can count his numbers in Florida as coach of the Florida Gators. Now he may elect to stay down in Florida and play golf for the next 40 years. I don't know about that. But he won't be the coach of the Florida Gators that long, and that's for sure. Names are flying. Names are flying, and this morning it got to my attention. Yes, Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer. The same Urban Meyer um, that has been up in arms with all of Jacksonville's crap this year. His name has been mentioned as a possible replacement to Dan Mullen. I don't know how in the world you'd leave a cushy Jacksonville job that you don't have to go to kids' houses. All you got to do is coach. $9 million a year. I don't think Florida has enough money to get him. I really don't. I really don't. Also, anybody that may be having the other Christmas, Thanksgiving week off, special Thanksgiving Eve show. I'm gonna be on here for 30 minutes, maybe an hour, Wednesday evening. Okay, so Wednesday evening I will be on here live. Definitely come on and join us for that. It'll probably be around 4 o'clock, 4:15, something like that. It's gonna be early afternoon, early evening. Be on here for about 30 minutes, previewing the three games with the professionals, the pros, on Thursday. Don't forget, there's big games on Friday as well. We're going to review those games. What? Okay, okay, guys, hold on just for a second. Sorry, folks. Oh boy, had to run. Had to run for a minute. Oh, jeez. Sorry about that. All right. Let's get with these guys in here. Tim doesn't have his. Tim doesn't have his. Now we can hear him. We might be able to hear him. Good
Testing,
morning,
testing, 1, 2, 3.
Keith.
Hey,
My sump pump messed up. I hate that,
well,
man. I always have I always worry that we're gonna have problems with it when I'm on the road somewhere, and I'm like, oh man. But no. Anybody seen or heard the big news out of Florida this morning?
Did Dan Mullen finally get fired?
No, but who may replace him? Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer's name has been thrown around.
Back, huh?
Yeah, Urban Meyer, I'm back. Any chance you guys can lay it to rest? And I've actually got a Florida insider that may come on here in a few minutes. Any chance that he takes his job, Tim?
Wow. I mean, they've been showing up for him for Jacksonville. It's better than what I could say at the beginning of the year.
But the fact is, he can't take a Jacksonville crew with him to Florida.
That's true.
He can't take those to Gainesville with him. What I'm saying is, what do you think? The Urban Meyer decides I'm going to start recruiting. I'm going to start getting recruiting trails going again. I'm going to start winning Florida battle. And
I hope this doesn't end up worse than Bobby Petrino.
Yeah. It's got that written all over it, looks like.
Mm-hmm.
It really does. Because you can tell that he likes to party. We know that.
Like
you start mixing 18 and 22-year-old young men with that.
Right.
That are players of yours.
Mm-hmm.
Then you start hiring coaches. It's hard not to hire a coach that you didn't see at the bar down the street. You know, I know you know your shit, so I think I'm going to hire you over maybe somebody that would be a little more lay the hammer down type deal. Then you start getting that University of Miami feel from back in the 80s. Remember that shit?
Mm-hmm.
Remember when they were coming in there? They were thugs. There were thugs coming into the University of Miami. Does Florida go that route? Because I'm like, you know, man, oh man, there's so many good coaches out there. Not that many proven coaches, but there are good coaches out there. Mark Stoops, to me, makes all the sense in the world. Mark Stoops is in Kentucky, the hotbed of football, conducting it to Kentucky, and he's actually winning games. And I don't know. Here comes our insider right now. Insider, Matt Sharver. Matt, any truth to the notion that Urban Meyer comes to Florida?
Yeah, I didn't see that till this morning, but a lot of people are saying it's far-fetched.
He's far-fetched, though. That's the thing. We're talking about a cat that's out there. He is, I mean, this dude is 415 feet out in the left field. I mean, he's way the fuck out there. I mean, he has no clue sometimes what he's got going on. And we were just talking. If he gets in with, especially, we know lately he's been loving the bar life. 18 to 22-year-old young men, then hires him a few assistant coaches. It's like, oh, yeah, let's go. This could end up being, what do you call it, Animal House.
Well, my concern is I don't think it's as far-fetched as people are saying, but
right.
I think there's two things here. There's two narratives. Going home again, that rarely ever works. And when he left, he left a bit of a mess.
Oh, yeah.
And the program wasn't really in great shape due to a lot of off-field issues.
Did they also have some things going against them so they couldn't be in bowls and stuff like that?
No, there wasn't that. But he kind of abandoned ship. Like, he left a sour taste in a lot of Gators fans' mouth. Like, he kind of left the cupboard bare and used the heart, issues as a reason to get out, and then took a year off, and then went to
Ohio State. Yeah.
I mean, there was a thing in Gainesville called just get guys to Saturday. And that's kind of the approach the Urban Meyer regime took, which was make sure guys don't get in trouble, get them able to play on Saturday. And I don't know. I mean, I know they want to win. Gator fans want to win. 9 wins a year isn't going to do it in Gainesville.
No.
But I don't think Urban would be a long-term answer. He really was enemy number one for a long time. I really think it would be more Mark Stoops, Lane Kiffin, and
Well, the fact is, Lane Kiffin has never stayed anywhere for over 4 years.
No.
That's Lane Kiffin's downfall. Lane Kiffin goes places, and by the time he gets his own classes in there, he's gone.
Yeah.
So I don't understand. I understand Lane Kiffin as the name that a lot of people like to bring up, but you notice none of these East Coast jobs down south, Luke Fickell's name's not being mentioned. It's not even being mentioned. Everybody, I think, right now thinks Luke Fickell's one of two places. He's either going to Penn State and take James Franklin's job after James Franklin gets fired, which could easily happen, or what I think is going to happen, I think he's going to USC. I think he's already signed, and I think USC has said, okay, play out your season, come out here when you're done. And that's what I think has happened anyway, because nobody has mentioned Luke Fickell's name in the last 3 weeks. You just don't hear his name being called. Every time TCU, well, Deion Sanders and this one and this one. And then LSU, now you're hearing Jimbo Fisher's name getting popped back up again, which I think that would be a long shot. I really don't think it happens.
Well, Jimbo has that buyout that is, now Jimbo can leave on his own accord.
Yes.
If he wants for nothing. But I guess it could happen. But why would he I don't know why he would leave Texas A&M,
Right.
because he's good where he's at.
That program's in better shape than LSU is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Texas, that's a train wreck. That's a fire among itself right there. We were just talking about that one the other day. Texas, who in the hell wants that job now? Because, it would have to be imploded. Not from just the AD end. I'm not sure the vice president or president of athletics wouldn't have to go too. And you just start fully from his top to the bottom and just bring in new people, because how many times? They've won nothing since Vince Young left. What, 08? 09?
No, it was
2010.
7?
2005.
Something like that, yeah.
But Texas is a lot like Miami. They're always, every year, we're back, and they're never back.
Right, exactly. And, yeah, they're a whole lot the same way. You're right. And a whole lot like Michigan.
But there are some jobs, too, that are just, they're blue blood jobs. Someone's always going to want it. Someone's always going to think. That's part of being a coach, having that ego. I can do this. No one else could. Mm-hmm. Or I can be the person that resurrects this program. So even if it's not attractive, someone's going to want it because it's Texas. There's a ton of money. They're going to have to get rid of the Longhorn Network, so there'll probably be a little bit less money, but it's still an attractive job. I don't know that it's a blue blood job.
Top 10 in the country?
Probably for size and money, yeah.
All right. Let me ask all three of you guys this. If Michigan loses next week to Ohio State, Tim, we'll start with you. Harbaugh is out, yes or no?
Yes.
Keith?
If they lose to who? Michigan State.
If Michigan loses to Ohio State next weekend,
Ohio State.
Is Harbaugh out?
I'm going to say no.
No. Matt?
Well, Tim is closer to Michigan than I am, and probably follows the Big Ten more than I do. I'm an SEC honk, so I don't know. I wouldn't think that he would after the year they've had, but maybe. It's been going on and on. He hasn't beat Ohio State, so maybe that's.
I'll give my reasoning. The only reason I say is, yeah, you win 10 games a year, but your one job is to beat your rival.
Right.
And if you're going to go 0-6, then I'm sorry, you're not letting teams go 2-10-1 like Ohio State did for Newt Cooper.
Right.
What I would say though is, if you're going to do that, you better have your guy in mind. You better have a reasonable assurance you can get that guy, and that he's going to be good at it.
Well, and then they might be like, okay, well, we haven't had a coach win 10 games. That's the problem. Who are you going to have lined up?
Yeah, you're right. You're right there.
That's the thing. a lot of these fans, I mean, even that's why it took me so long to finally get on the train to fire Mullen. I'm like, who are you going to get? But at some point you have to pull the trigger. And what we saw yesterday with Florida was so bad that I'm like, I think it's time. And maybe
are they 6-5 or 5-6?
They're 5-6.
5-6, so they're not even bowl eligible.
They will be 13th in the SEC, so they're right down there with Vanderbilt. It's inexcusable. It's not.
And who do they finish the season against, Matt?
Florida
State next week.
And is it at Florida State?
It's an odd year, so I think it's at Florida State. Yes, because I think even number years are in.
And I'm going to tell you right now, I believe Florida State will be favored. Anybody wants to look, take a look at, you can. I think Florida State's a better team right now. And we were laughing at Florida State 10 weeks ago. Remember, I told everybody, don't pull the trigger at Florida State. Do you remember that, Tim, when I said it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You got a lot of coach build it up.
Right. You got to let this coach, whoever it is, stay there. Let them have 4 years. Let them have 4 years. You are not in the SEC. You're in the ACC. You got to realize that. If you're going to take your bumps and your bruises, that's the time to do it. And this year they have blossomed and they've become a better team. And I don't think they're at all thinking about firing their coach.
I imagine the SEC and the NCAA are hoping Florida wins this week so that they get into a bowl game, huh?
Yeah, but I mean, even if it's a win over Florida State, but it was like last week when I told you, Rob, it never has a win felt so lousy. And that would be the same thing if they beat Florida State next week. Yeah, you beat Florida State.
Same feeling as Sanford. Yeah, the Sanford win be the same. Yeah, and for Mullen to come in there smug the way he was last week and said something about, it's a win, folks. It's a win.
Yeah.
I mean, he was smug about that shit. He wasn't trying.
Well,
he wasn't.
That's the problem too. Mullen is a Northeastern guy. He's not from the. Not that you have to be from the South to coach in the SEC, but you have to understand that culture. And Mullen has a bit of an ego. He hasn't shown himself to be humble very often, and he's been very stubborn. I mean, last year we saw what Mullen could do when he had a quarterback with Kyle Trask, yet he would still pull Kyle Trask at times to get in a package of plays for Emory Jones, and the offense would kind of throttle down. And now this year he has Anthony Richardson, who he doesn't play, and it's like he's just trying to prove a point that no, it'll work with my quarterback, Emory Jones.
Yeah.
When it probably would have been better with Anthony Richardson.
Yes. If he just went there at least halfway through the season and realized my project's not working, I got to go a different route.
Yeah.
It might would have been accepted. Now we got teams that are no longer unbeaten, and we got some teams that are going to fall. Oregon, how about that crappy performance, guys? Utah put it to them, 38-7.
Can I pile on something on Florida real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
They said that Florida has not beaten an FBS team since they beat Vanderbilt on October 9th.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, they have 2 SEC wins this year, Tennessee and Vanderbilt. So they're state champions at Tennessee.
Anyway, go ahead with the that was embarrassing if you're an Oregon fan.
Yeah.
Is there a trophy they get for that win against Tennessee? Is there like something that they pass?
They get the orange socks.
Yeah. Orange socks.
Get it every year. Just like Spurrier used to say, you can't spell citrus without UT.
Yep.
Tennessee always end up in the Citrus Bowl because they couldn't beat Florida.
And then they had to finally put in a rule that you couldn't be in there twice back in more than 2 years in a row.
So, question is, with Michigan State losing,
they're out.
Does Cincinnati control their own destiny at this point?
Yes.
Yes.
What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, I mean, Oregon sank like a stone last night. I mean, they're done.
Oregon and Michigan State are done.
Yeah, there's no recovering from those two losses.
Right. Michigan can still knock Ohio State out of the top 4. If they win next week, Ohio State has no gripe. They're out. Michigan State would slide in the top 4. Now, you want to put a little problem in the ointment. I'm hearing it from CBS Sports Network. Let's say Alabama loses overtime by a field goal. With 2 losses, they're saying they're still going to be in that top 4. I have a problem with it.
They should be.
You think so? No way.
Yes.
No way. No 2-loss team should be in there. No 2-loss team should be in there. I don't care.
I think as long as Alabama beats Auburn, they're probably going to get in.
And I think so too. Now, how about this, Matt? Let's say they lose by 10 points to Georgia. Should they be in?
It depends, because we're just talking about the amount of points, but how does it look? Is it
30 to 20, and nobody scores in the
fourth. All right, are we saying that it's 10 points going into the fourth quarter and nobody scores?
Right.
Okay.
Or is it a 3-point game and they don't convert on the fourth, a 4-down territory, and then Georgia scores a late touchdown? To me, they're still in. Listen, Georgia is head and shoulders better than everybody in the country right now. Mm-hmm. Alabama is just below Georgia. Losing to Georgia, I don't think hurts them. Losing to Auburn would, but I don't think that's going to happen either. So I think the SEC championship game is really just for seeding in the playoff. I don't think it's going to impact either Alabama or Georgia's place in the playoff.
Okay. All right.
And I didn't look at the stats, guys, but I kind of got the feeling that Alabama actually on the field beat Arkansas by more than 7 points. I mean, did you statistically? I mean, Arkansas scored the last touchdown, I think, of the game to close it from 14 to 7.
Yeah, I mean, I watched the whole game, and to me, it was one of those games where the score was close enough for Arkansas to make a run, but you got that feeling that they're just not going to do it. Like, they're in the game, but they're not in the game. Score-wise they are, but they're not going to catch Alabama.
Yeah. How about the team that likes to flirt with the point spread, screw with us more than anybody in the country, and they're right there in the middle of the country? Scott Frost is going to lose his job over it, but my Lord, they play tough every friggin' week. Nebraska.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We all picked them. Picked them. We felt that, and most of us said they were going to lose, but they were going to cover 9.5, and they lose by 7. I mean, boy, did we get that one. Then Tim, I see where Tim put it up there.
Hey, Alex.
Yeah. Prairie View, Texas A&M. They didn't have a line this week, so we did our bidding on the channel. and Tim went 49.5 and had to take A&M.
No, actually, somebody else took it because I think I was the final one for Georgia and failed miserably.
No, you got to Texas A&M Prairie View. You got 49.5.
Yeah. That was my final bid. Okay,
that was your final bid. So you took A&M. So
yeah,
at 48.5, rest of us dumbasses, me, Harris, and Anthony, we take Prairie View. 48.5 doesn't cover it.
No.
My man Keith down here, what does he do? 48.5, 1 point less than what you had to give up. He takes A&M, and I'll be damned if he doesn't pull a win off. The rest of us don't get nothing off of it.
Right.
We couldn't have put that point spread no better.
Nope.
We couldn't have done that one any better. Then
thanks to this jabroni.
And then we all go to Georgia and Charleston Southern. Harris went 53.5 on that one, and we all got it for 52.5. None of us had nerve enough to take Charleston Southern. The one touchdown they score affected the line. How about that? That's unbelievable to me. Yeah, and we always talk about, Alabama. We know Coach Saban's going to watch the line. He wasn't that worried about the line last night. He just wanted to get to the SEC championship game. And Notre Dame, what the heck are we seeing here, guys? This is a team that wants to be in that top 4. I don't care what anybody says. They're 55-0 tells me we're not going to play whoever now and not wipe them up. And that was pretty interesting to watch. And Auburn, Did you see how that game ended? Did anybody see how that game ended with the punt?
No.
The punt, the punt that South Carolina kicked, the ball hits the ground and it slips and touches an Auburn player, and South Carolina player grabs it. And on the field, they said they called it down and Auburn's ball. They looked at it again, and they gave the ball to South Carolina with 40 seconds to go or whatever, and they downed the ball twice, and that was the end of that game. That was, they called it highly controversial, but to me, if you look
highly controversial if there's video proof.
Right.
Yeah.
To me, it hit him. To me, it looked like it touched him anyway. So South Carolina gets another win with Shane Beamer. Shane Beamer probably now stays at South Carolina. I think if he'd have lost this game, there's a good chance he may go to Virginia Tech. I don't think it happens now. I think a lot of things got in place yesterday. I really do. Who this week? Who this week is your locks, guys? Matt, NFL. Have you looked at any of the NFL games this week?
Yeah. But my lock.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with my heart and not my head here. After back-to-back losses, we haven't won in a month. And reading everything in the media this week, I am going to take the Bucks and the points. I think you're going to see a different team.
Monday night.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. Do you think it's a 20-point win?
I don't know it'll be that much, just simply because the Giants are better than the 3-6 record indicates. But I think it'll be a 2-possession win.
They're giving 11.5.
I think it'll be a 2-possession win. Yeah.
So you think he cover 11.5?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Rob, do you have Matt's picks for all these?
I do not have Matt's picks this week. Would you like to give your picks
for today?
Yeah.
This is totally off the cuff. I will, but I
okay.
have not.
All right. We do over under now too. All right. Saints, Eagles. Eagles giving up 1.5 at home. 43.5.
And Simeon's still playing for the Saints, right? So, I guess I'll go with the Eagles just because of the quarterback situation.
43.5 total.
Oh, I'm going to go under on that.
Under. Okay. Dolphins, Jets. Dolphins 3.5-point favorites.
Dolphins.
You'll take the Dolphins?
Mm-hmm.
And 44.5.
No, less. I don't think either of these teams are going to score all that much.
Washington football team and the Carolina Panthers. Panthers 2.5-point favorites.
Take the Panthers and whatever the under is because their defense plays really well.
43.5. Okay. Colts, Bills. Bills 6.5.
Take the Bills.
That's my lock.
49.5.
I'll go over that.
Over that, okay. And that is Tim's lock is the Bills.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Lions at the Browns. Browns 9.5-point favorites.
Is
Chubb still out?
No,
Chubb's not out. Chubb's not out. But did they lose somebody to? No, did they? No, I don't think he lost somebody to COVID.
Overcooked Mayfield is starting, but I don't think that Goff is starting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Goff. That's right. Goff. David Blau or something is starting. I think, right?
Okay.
So yeah, I'll take the Browns. I had a question because without those running backs, it seems Baker really struggles. But I'll take the Browns.
You'll give up 9.5. Okay.
Yeah.
And 44.5.
I'll take the under because I don't think the Lions are going to score that much.
49ers at the Jags, 5.5-point favorites.
49ers.
All right. Okay. They're just giving up 5.5. Okay. And 46.5.
Going under again. A lot of these low-scoring offensive outputs from these bad teams. So
Texans at the Titans. The Titans 10.5-point favorites.
Titans.
45.5.
I'll go under again. I feel like I'm taking all unders, but I'm gonna take the under again.
Packers 2.5-point favorites at the Vikings.
I'm gonna go with the Vikings.
48.5.
I'll go over.
All right. In the dome. Ravens and the Bears. Ravens 6.5-point favorites in Chicago.
I'm gonna go with the Ravens.
45.5.
And I'm gonna go under.
Bengals 1.5 favorite at the Raiders.
I'll take the Raiders.
Yeah, I was wondering that one myself, man. I was kind of like, 49.5.
I'll take the over.
All right. Cardinals 2.5-point favorites at Seattle.
Murray back this week? No, he's not. That's right. I saw this morning. Colt McCoy's going to start.
Yeah. Murray's out.
Um,
Murray's out.
I'll take the Seahawks.
50.5.
And I will take the over.
Cowboys at the Chiefs. Chiefs 2.5-point favorites.
I'll take the Cowboys.
Yeah. We was wondering about that line too. We was like,
you know what I think that was? Just real quick.
Also last year.
I think last week people were like, "Oh, the Chiefs are back," but the Raiders didn't. They played like a lot of single high coverage, which just basically let the Chiefs throw all over them. A lot of teams haven't been doing that this year, and
They've been playing that 2 deep safeties.
Yeah, they're playing 2 and 3. I mean, that's how we beat them in the Super Bowl. We played 3 deep, and they couldn't throw deep. So that's how we beat, and that's what people are using. So I don't think that trend will continue. I don't think they're back by any means. I think the Raiders just had a piss poor game plan last week.
And Michael Gallup should step up for Cooper today and on Thanksgiving.
54.5.
I'll definitely take the over.
All right, Sunday night, Steelers at the Chargers. Chargers 3.5.
Chargers.
All right, and 47.5.
And I'll take the over.
Giants at the Bucks. Bucks 11.5-point favorites.
Bucks.
And 49.5.
Well, let's go over. We're averaging alone. We are averaging 40.5 points at home per game.
Yeah.
So.
Wow.
Yeah, I went with the over too. I like that. I like that pick as well.
Everything had a hook on it this week in the NFL.
Everything it did have a hook on it, so it's not going to be any ties, no ties at all. What game do you see that you really like this week, Keith?
Really like in the terms of like a lock or just a real good game to watch.
Lock, and then you give us the one you want to watch.
If there is any such thing,
I'm going with the Bengals Raiders. The last time the Bengals had an offensive line, it's been about 2 weeks. They just cannot protect number 9, man. They just cannot do it. Hello, wife.
I guess, I'm tempted to say the Panthers this week, but another one that I'll just say is the Chargers. I just have a feeling they're going to have a bounce back.
I tell you what, I can't believe none of us didn't take a Cowboys as a lock this week, especially getting points because. But we're the only ones that don't like. I mean, Harris is the only one that likes the Cowboys. So, yeah. So, which one was it? You said the Panthers.
Yes, I'll go with the Panthers against our WTF.
Yeah. WTF. Yeah. This week in college football, don't listen, folks, because you're not going to do too good with your money. Harris went 8-14. Anthony 9-13. Tim 9-13. Rob 10-12, and Keith 12-10. So Keith led the way.
You had 2 games that were wheel of betting, so that's a little bit of a people put their money on that. So
well, next week is going to be even harder because it being rivalry week, but having a lot of uncertain futures. Some of these kids, it's not like it used to. Some of these kids are like, "Hey, we're not going to a bowl. I'm not."
We're ready to go home for Christmas already.
Yeah.
Hell with it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's next week will be really hard to pick.
Florida. It's going to be hard to see those kids go out and actually play and perform.
Yeah.
And be like, okay, let's be serious about it. And then, Lord help them if they do win. and then they end up going to some Liberty Bowl, or they go to the Continental Tire Bowl, or some shit like that. Probably with a different coach. I'll be very surprised if Dan Mullen's still here after Christmas.
I'll be shocked. I'll be shocked if he's here, and the new hire, whoever it is, it may not be popular because it may not be a huge name. But I think that, and then I'm referring to Mark Stoops, but I think that, the more I think about it, the more I think, hey, that could be a guy that's a long-term answer. It's going to be a guy that can come in.
So
now, I really don't think Mark Stoops would leave his position right at this time of year when we see Kentucky going to a bowl game. I think he'll play the bowl game out in Kentucky, then leave. It would be terrible timing for him to leave.
Oh,
now.
I don't think he'd leave it. I think he'd coach it out like Scott Frost did when he left UCF. Like a lot of coaches do, but
yeah,
I think it's not a name that's been brought up. Everyone wants to pick a sexy name, and I get the sexy name, appeal, and that's what Gator fans are going to want. But you need a long-term answer, and I don't know that going back to the well with Meyer is it. And I really think Spurrier needs to be heavily involved. Like I told you, Rob, he's got an office at the facility. He's there every day for a few hours. Yeah. He's very involved in the university. I think Spurrier needs to be involved, not have a say necessarily, because he is a little bit older and offensive tendencies have changed. But he needs to find someone who can be an ambassador to that program.
Let me throw a couple of names out there to you. Is there any chance Tim Tebow?
No, there's no. That would. I mean, we might disagree. I think would that be a positive or negative if they hired him? I think it would be a negative.
Really?
Tim is a great person. And I think everyone in Gainesville loves Tim, but he has no coaching experience, and you don't hand over the reins of an SEC program like Florida to Tim Tebow just because he's popular with the fans. That'd be like hiring Danny Warfel.
Right.
The press conferences would be fun, but it
would be a lot of fun, wouldn't it? And I just wonder if he could really, really light up a room of 50 or 80 kids, 90 kids, and just be like, you know what? Because the whole time he was in college, he was always that bright light, and it was always shining on him. Yes, but that team always performed. That's one thing I can always say. And hell, even when he went to the pros, he didn't throw for 200 yards. He didn't throw for 150 a game. But doesn't he have a winning record? I think he had close to a winning record when he played in the NFL. The problem was nobody liked the way he played the game because he ran the football all the time. It was a nasty way of winning. It was dirty. But
his passing wasn't.
Yeah,
I know it was terrible. I'll admit, but a place where everybody says the main thing here is wins and losses, that's bullcrap. Because he's one guy that actually can win, and he would win so ugly though. I mean, he would win 9-6 games and 12.
Well, sometimes you just have to answer a certain question a certain way to the press. I mean, Elway in that situation, I mean, he's got to be.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think, I don't think anyone doubts Tim's passion or anything. I mean, he's still heavily involved in the university as much as he can be with all his other obligations. But that's not a hire you make. You want to find yourself out of a job as an AD, you make that hire.
Right.
The Board of Regents will.
How about James Franklin?
No,
he really has done.
I don't like James Franklin. I don't understand the hype around him.
He's done nothing at Penn State, and people want to pat him on the back, and I'm like, what the hell has he done? He's not won nothing. He's won nothing.
Yeah.
He has been a step below Harbaugh.
Well, he's also a guy that has a reputation for having an ego. So that'd be a terrible hire for Florida.
Because he was at Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
And when he left Vanderbilt, they said it was some people there that did not like him. They did not like him. And I got to bring this name back up. This name flew up in the hat in the last day or two for different jobs too. Bill O'Brien. How about Bill O'Brien? And I'm like, all right, Bill O'Brien, you number one, You couldn't have wished anything he stepped on in Penn State to count. I mean, he was there at a time that landmines were flying and just blowing up on people's faces.
Ben Simmons to the Bucks.
We'll get to that and after the.
Ben Simmons.
Yeah. I just happened to see that. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Go ahead, bro.
I was in Philly when that was going on. That whole Paterno situation. You couldn't have wished that on your worst enemy. All I can say is the coach that should, whoever they brought in there, should have made $10 million a year just from answering the stupid questions they had to bring up. And then they still had, kind of like after the gunshots went off in the campus, you still had to clean up the mess. And then when the brooms and all the mops and everything started going, they started taking more names, more people's names is out of there. It was a mess. That was I don't wish that on nobody. I understand Bill O'Brien, and I can understand him leaving that situation. He left a mess because he was in a mess. The situation at Texas is totally different. He went down there to Houston, and I mean, to me, he really didn't do a lot down there either. And I just don't understand. I just don't understand the situation. If anybody was to hire that guy now, he's not the answer. He's
definitely not. I mean, and one thing that is really important is you have to have someone that can connect with these kids. I mean, listen, your livelihood depends on 18 to 22-year-olds.
Yep.
Feeling like they want to play for you.
Yep.
And he couldn't even relate to guys that were older at the NFL level. I'm not going to give him the keys to the car.
No.
At the University of Florida, or any university.
LSU, you know, they're listing their top three. Oh no! Florida put their top three on a thing this morning, and had Urban Meyer at number 1, but had Bill O'Brien at number 2, and then number 3 was who was it? It wasn't Brian Kelly, but I keep hearing Brian Kelly's name getting mentioned now out of Notre Dame. Why would you leave Notre Dame? Why would you? To go to LSU? I don't know. Like I say, I think USC job's done. You don't hear anybody say, well, this guy may go to USC. I think people realize that job is filled. Florida, on the other hand, man, oh man. I mean, there's so many good people they can get.
I'll tell you another guy that you haven't heard his name once, but a guy that I think would be a great fit, and he's an SEC defensive coordinator right now, and that's Dan Lanning at Georgia.
Oh, okay.
I think he's another guy that you don't know his name, you haven't heard his name much, but he's a guy that has worked he's young, but he's worked for quite some time at a college football level, and he's another guy that I think if he has learned anything on how to run a program, he's the type of guy that can be a hire for 15 plus years.
Is he in his 20s or 30s?
Oh no, he's like 41, 42.
Oh well, okay. Yeah. So when you said young, I was thinking.
Yeah, I mean young in terms of coaching, and you know.
Yeah.
And it's not just because 40, of what Georgia's doing this year.
40 would be fine to bring. Yeah. I am not saying 30 is not fine to bring somebody in. You just got to make sure it's the right fit at age 30 because you got to make sure they got all the kid out of them. Urban Meyer's 60. Urban Meyer's almost 60 years old. He still doesn't have all the kid out of him yet. That's a problem with him. That's a problem there. Yeah, that's the true problem there. I just don't see Urban Meyer being the fit.
I don't think you go back to the well. You can't. I don't.
Yeah. Now we look over here. Drew Holiday comes back to to the 76ers, and the Bucks get Ben Simmons. Is that actual trade went over, or is that just a proposal?
The 1-for-1? How does the money work with that?
Right. The Sixers would have to get a lot of dough there.
The money has to match unless you're under the tax or under the cap.
So it's a proposal, not an actual trade.
And then Carlos Correa, I'd heard this. He went to his agent and said, $340, not taking it. I must get $341 million. $341 million. You average that over 10 years. That's $34.1 million. You're not getting it, bro. I don't know anybody in in pro sports right now that's going to pay Carlos Correa 10 years, $341. Is there a team out there stupid enough to do it? Matt?
There's a lot of teams out there that are stupid enough to do stuff like that. I could
Really?
think of a few. I'm not saying they will, but there
Right.
are organizations that are dumb enough to do it. Boston, New York, LA, all three, San Diego, 4 right there that are dumb enough to hand out humongous contracts to make noise. They do it every year.
I was just reading that the Tigers are possibly interested in signing Baez.
Yeah, Javier Baez. Tigers are making some real turns this year, and I'd even heard that they were interested in signing Correa. Now, I don't think they're going to sign him for $34.1 million a year average. I just
Texas
don't
could
see
do
it. Who could?
Texas
Yeah,
has got
they
money to
said
spend.
they're willing to fork over, like what they say, they want to spend $100 million in free agency.
Who is that?
Rangers.
Yeah, the Rangers. That would be a third of their free agent money right there.
Meanwhile, we're not going to probably sign anybody, and we'll probably end up trading a few guys and still win the East. So,
are you talking about Tampa?
Yeah.
Well, they just traded Honeywell to the A's.
Oakland, but that was a 40-man roster move. A lot of those moves have been because we have a crunch on the 40-man. So the fact that we're getting anything back for these guys is pretty good.
Yeah.
All right.
The Hokies coaching situation, Rob, did you touch on that? If you did,
the Hokies coaching situation. As we know, we brought it up earlier in the week. The way that they unceremoniously let their coach go, that was really a crappy situation. I mean, like I say, I heard more into the situation, and there was a bullhorn, and there was the coach is getting fired, but it was one of those rental bullhorns that somebody actually had. It was not going over the whole campus thing like it originally reported. He was already in there meeting the AD at the time and receiving the word that he was getting fired. But word spread around the campus that the AD was meeting him, and they went on a bullhorn, and people were running around the campus. Coach Fuentes is fired. Coach Fuentes is fired. And then that's when they actually went to one of the trash cans there, lit it on fire, and they were throwing Fuentes stuff and I don't know, some stuff. I think he even had bobblehead week or whatever for Justin Fuentes, not this year, but last year. And they were throwing his bobbleheads in the trash and in the fires or whatever. But anyway.
Fans are awesome.
Oh, man, you got to just wonder where the hell everybody's head is. Man, I really don't know where this team's going. If you hear them, they're talking Hugh Freeze. That's still a risky proposal. I'll tell you, Hugh Freeze, if anybody doesn't know him, he was a guy down in Auburn.
He was at Ole Miss.
Oh, was he at Ole Miss?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, he wasn't Auburn. He was Ole Miss.
Okay, Ole Miss. Okay, and but I want to say maybe he was at the Auburn. What was he talking to Auburn there at one time about the opening?
He took over at Arkansas State, and he was there for like a year or two, and then he got the Ole Miss job. He might have interviewed. I don't know if he interviewed for Auburn.
It was either in Auburn on their campus or either Ole Miss's campus. Mm-hmm. It's where he ends up getting caught in a limo, 3 naked women on each side of him. He had no trousers on, and he had a shirt on backwards. And this was in the middle of the day on a Saturday in the off season. I want to say maybe June, May, something like that. So they were still in school, maybe April. But they're riding through the middle of the campus. Okay? One of the young ladies decides, with no clothes on, I think I'm going to let the window down and we're going to have a little fun. So she lets the window down. They are driving by whatever the baseball field is. She actually hangs out of the window. Photos were taken of her being naked, and you can actually see the coach Hugh Freeze trying to pull her ass back into the window.
Wow.
So, when
Lamar Jackson out today, by the way.
Lamar Jackson's
out.
Oh, he's out for the
I need to change that pick.
Okay. Ravens and Bears. You'd rather have a Bears?
Yeah, with Lamar out, yeah.
Oh, okay. Shit, I'm just the opposite. I think he can play just as well or better without him. I think he's so overrated. Matt went Bears over or under now. You still going under?
We'll still go under, yeah.
Yeah.
Tyler Huntley is starting.
Yeah. I'll keep my pick. But yeah. And then the photos get around to his wife. And they're knocking on a door. And she's wondering what the hell is all these people coming to my door for? And says something about, do you know this young lady? And said, no, we were wondering if it may be your daughter. And somebody being smart ass about it, just being a total smart ass. And said, no, my daughter wouldn't do anything like that. Well, would your husband be with her? No, not a chance. And they caught a picture, and I mean, just his head's just as big as hell, right beside her body right there, yanking her ass back inside the car. It's so funny. It is so damn funny. And
he also got in trouble. What caused him to get fired was the escort service that he had for recruits. And
yeah. Well, they said it may have been some players in there with him right at the time.
Well, the escort service, though, was a service here in Tampa.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, my God. Oh, my word. He just – so he's been up here now for a couple of 3 years up here at Liberty Christian School, Baptist School. And so what happens as soon as he gets here, as soon as he arrives, what happens, there's we remember Jerry Falwell. He passed away. He's got a son, Jonathan, that is a pastor as well. And then he's got a son, Jerry Jr., that is a lawyer. And he started hanging around Hendrick Motorsports, was hanging around Rick Hendrick, and they started going on cruises and stuff together. A lot of photos came back anyway. Anyway, he ends up losing his job at Liberty University. And Freeze stays quiet about it. Nobody ever said whether Freeze was involved with some of that stuff or not. But, yeah, it's been kind of wild, the ride up here. And now he's got a $5 million house up here. And I mean, cushy job. Should be able to stay out of trouble. He's out in the country. Yeah, if you're going to mess around, probably it's not going to be 1,000 or 10,000 cameras chasing you all the time. I just don't know if he's ready for Florida or Virginia Tech. I just don't know if he is or not. And it'll be interesting to see, but we'll see. And then obviously you remember the old coach here, Frank Beamer. Frank Beamer was here at Virginia Tech for 30 years. His son's at South Carolina. Does he leave after 1 year though? That would leave a sour taste in their mouth.
So he addressed that though. He said I don't want to say he said it emphatically because he wasn't like worked up when he said it, but he made it pretty clear. He goes, listen, I love Blacksburg, but basically he doesn't want to have to follow in his father's shadow. He's like, this is my job. They gave me the opportunity. This is where I want to be. I want to create my own legacy is what he said. So I would think he's not going to entertain anything from Virginia Tech.
And that'd be nice to know. That'd be nice to know that he's actually going to stand up. What's up, P-Jet? Thanks to P-Jet, right over top of Tim's head right there, taking part of his ear out. He can point to it if he wants to. The Jabroni Network sign, P-Jet sent me that, and he fixed it up for me. So, yeah, that's right to there. And P-Jet sent it up to me and fixed it up. So thanks a lot, P-Jet. It's a whole lot better than the ghetto sign that I had written up and that we used for like a month. He felt sorry for me, I guess. He was like, hey, Rob, you got to do something better than this crap. So, does anybody see anybody just going off the charts today? 500 yards passing, 200 yards rushing, 5 sacks, 3 INTs, or somebody throwing 4 INTs, or just somebody just falling apart.
What about the Lions quarterback? If they're going with their backup, I could see him maybe throwing 3 or 4 INTs.
Against the Browns, I guess
Yeah.
it could happen. Yeah.
Joe Flacco throwing 3 or 4.
Yeah, him too. Good Lord.
Is he with New York?
Yeah,
And he's starting.
Oh, is he? I actually took him today. You believe that? I took him against the Dolphins. Can Washington follow up that a near perfect performance last week and go to Carolina and beat them soundly? Does anybody think they can? I don't see it.
No.
Matt?
Another one that could have a big day would be maybe Zeke Elliott on the ground, or maybe, how about this one for interesting? Michael Gallup stepping up to the number 2 spot for Amari Cooper, who will be out with COVID.
All right, Cooper is out this week. I saw him.
He's out for this week, and he's out for Thanksgiving.
Oh, that's right.
Because he's unvaccinated, so he's got to stay out for
10 days.
10 days.
And if McCaffrey's healthy, I kind of have a feeling he's going to have a big day.
That scares me. Now, the one positive for Washington is that Cam Newton starts. You see, to me, that's a positive for Washington. Cam Newton has passed. I'm sorry, the boat left him a year ago. If anybody wanted him, like I say, if anybody wanted him, they would have already gotten him. I do not see this kid going out today throwing for 300 yards. Now, he may go out there and run for 80 yards, and they made him out last week to have won the game for him.
Yeah.
Go back and watch that game. He didn't play that much. But, that's what happens when we get into this woke deal. Well, he played really, really, really well. Yeah, he didn't play that much, folks. He threw a touchdown pass and did some other stuff, and he ran for a little bit. We'll see what happens.
Anybody got a prediction for Aaron Rodgers' stats today?
Ooh, let's see. Aaron Rodgers is going up against the Vikes. And
275 and 2
Aaron
touchdowns.
Rodgers is 500 against the Vikings since Kirk Cousins joined the team.
So Tim says 275, 2 touchdowns. Matt,
maybe a pick.
I think the Vikings went outright. I don't know that has an impact on how good of a day Rodgers has. I mean, he's pretty careful with the football, but I don't think he's going to go off.
So you don't see 300 yards, 3 touchdowns in.
Well, 300 yards now is like the old 200 yards pass.
300 plus 3 touchdowns, both.
No, he won't get 3 touchdowns. I don't think so. I don't think he'll have 3 touchdowns now.
Wow. See, I see that. I just look at this game and see a blowout. I just don't. I don't count on.
But you're also, Rob, not counting on the Packers covering Thielen and Jefferson and all them.
Yeah,
that's the problem. Nobody remembers the Vikings offense.
But their defense has been playing as good. Their defense has been almost a top 5 defense here lately. Anyway, the Green Bay defense has. They've been playing well.
But the Vikings have played very well though against Green Bay the last 3 years. I mean, they really have.
I guess I'm thinking like 260 yards for Rodgers.
What do you say, Keith?
I guess I'm thinking 260 yards for Rodgers, maybe 1 or 2 touchdowns.
Okay.
I'm
going to say
towards 1 today.
All right. Well, let's say it this way: will he throw for more yards and more touchdowns than the guy for the Vikings?
Cousins.
Matt.
Because of the running games, he might.
I think he will, but I don't know that
Dalvin
means
Cook's out, right? Is Dalvin Cook out?
Well, isn't Jones out for the Packers?
Jones is out, yeah.
Isn't Dalvin Cook out too?
I don't know. He was back. Last week he had a good week.
Let's see. I thought Dalvin Cook may be out this week. But I don't care if he plays. Let's say he plays. That'll just take away some. Darius says yes. Dalvin. So you say Dalvin is out this week? I thought he was.
Wait, Rob, real quick.
I'm gonna say Rodgers throws over 300 yards, at least 3 touchdowns. I'm gonna say the Vikings quarterback doesn't throw for 200. So we'll see what happens. We'll see, but they don't have to run. They don't have to throw for as many if they run all the time. But I just think this could be a butt kicking right here. And the Ravens, I think too many people make a big deal about Jackson. Hell, they're a good team without Jackson. But the
guy starting today is making his first career start in the league.
I would, if he can throw the ball straight. That's all you got to be able to do. You go run it. You go to run the ball 40 times.
It's not necessarily whether Jackson plays well or not. It's having to respect the fact that you have essentially it's 11 on 11. Most teams that don't have a quarterback like Jackson, it's 11 on 10. Now it's 11 on 11, and you have to respect that. And without him, that changes the dynamics of how you can completely call a game, especially with a guy making his first start.
Yeah, and it's the same way with the Cardinals. Same way with the Cardinals. The Cardinals, and now we know their quarterback is hurt this week too. He's still limping this week. We know. So
if the Ravens had Dwayne Haskins starting today or Tim Tebow starting today, you would still pick the Ravens
over the Bears. Yeah, who's the Bears got? The Idiom's better than this
Fields?
Kid. Oh my God, Fields is terrible, guys. Fields maybe
Colin Cowherd's going to probably conk you on the head.
I would rather have Washington's quarterback than to have Fields.
It'd be like getting hit by a wet noodle, though, Keith.
Fields is terrible, man. Name somebody in the NFL, and I'm going to tell you right now, I guarantee I'd rather have Fields. I'd rather have him than Fields. Tua,
anyone maybe. In the NFL?
Tua, maybe. I mean, it's that bad.
Jacoby Brissett.
I'd rather have Brissett.
I got to go help my wife do some stuff around the house before I plop my ass in front of the couch for 7 hours.
Tiger Woods posts videos showing himself hitting golf balls.
All right. Take care, Matt.
Have a good day, guys.
All right, man. Have a good one, my friend.
All right, Matt. Yeah. Good to see you.
It was good to see him. And I just am not sold on Lamar Jackson, folks. I realize he's an MVP. I realize Cam Newton's an MVP. Oh, man. But to me, all you got to do to win at Baltimore is throw 15 times. Don't throw it to the other guy. And you may be called upon to run 5 or 6 times and just keep handing the ball off. The Bears, their linebacker's out for the year. We know that. The big guy, what's his name? What's the Bears got? When they got from the Raiders?
Mack.
Yeah. Oh, Khalil Mack.
Khalil Mack. He's out for the year. We know that. So he's done. The Bears are just not playing with any heart. The Ravens have better receivers. They have better runners. The Bears, to me, I really think that they're not as good as a lot of people are putting them on to be. I think Washington could step right in there this week, go to Chicago and beat Chicago. I just think they're a better team than Chicago. I don't think
a lot of Chicago's problems might be coach related, but
it could be. It could be, but Fields to me just looks like deer in the headlights, and I have no confidence in him at all. None. Even the kid that the 49ers picked, I would rather have him on the field.
I kind of get the impression that Chicago sports media, though, kind of likes Fields, what they're seeing. I don't know if it's just his athleticism or what, but
I don't know. Yeah, and Nagy, fired Nagy. Yeah, that's a matter of time. It's just a matter if what's the name up in Michigan gets fired. If so, they're going to want to hire him. They're going to want him. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure Michigan's going to get rid of him. And who knows? Michigan could pull off the upset next week. I don't know how many of us are going to pick them to win, but I think it would be good for college football if Michigan beat Ohio State. I know a lot of Ohio State fans are going to say, no, Rob, that's bullshit, Rob. That's bullshit. I just think it would help the culture of the Big Ten if Michigan went out there one time, even if they just pulled off a 1-point upset and just won one time. And then we could see, like, wow, they actually show up sometimes. But as it goes right now, I don't think that many people watch the game. I really don't. People down south do not watch that. They'll go do something else because they just don't think they think Ohio State's that much better. And right now they are. AJ Styles, doubtful he wrestles. He wants to
Darius wanted to see
Oh,
AJ Styles go to AEW so he could have
oh yeah,
Styles, Omega, and Danielson in a 3-way dance.
yeah. So Sunday night tonight, Steelers and Chargers. I'm the only one taking the Steelers in this ball game. We'll see how things go. A lot of 1:00 games today. A lot of good ones, I would say. Washington football team. Thank goodness they're playing the Panthers. They're my two local teams, so I'm hoping maybe we can still get a Saints-Eagles game or a Colts-Bills game. I don't know what one we'll get, but I will not
Check
be watching
your local listings.
I will not be watching the Washington-Carolina game. I can promise you guys that. I'll be watching the other game. And then, join us Tuesday night. Don't forget, 3 pro games on Tuesday evening. On Thursday, on Thanksgiving Day. And there are going to be some other games going on all throughout the week. A lot of college clashes. Virginia Tech, Michigan State's already played each other.
Yeah.
The Michigan State, Wisconsin, maybe.
Might be, yeah. And then you might have the Apple Cup.
Apple Cup, all different kinds. I don't think Penn State plays Pittsburgh no more. They used to play.
The Paul Bunyan Acts might be up this upcoming week.
Yeah, and then Florida State. We got so many good ones, guys. I hope you will join us Tuesday.
What frozen pizza? When you consider quality, should be the sponsor of the New York Jets?
What frozen pizza? The one bite anybody. That should be New York's. Yeah.
Brought to you by Barstool Sports.
Barstool brings you New York at its finest. And then you get an ink pen that's broken at the end, and you go, yippee, yippee, yippee. And you wait 40 minutes for it to cook.
And then you take a bite and smile?
You take a bite and then throw the rest away. 6:48. That's not what time it is.
The flies won't even attack it.
Flies fly the other way, and the animals run the other way. You feed it to your dog. The dog looks at you. He doesn't even bark. He looks at you and says, "What the fuck?" That's what he says.
I'm going. Move.
You mean you would feed your wife this? Don't feed it to me either. Your wife doesn't eat it. Why would you feed it to me, you son of a bitch? Yeah.
My neighbor's dog had one yapping out in the patio yesterday, and I was going to let it sniff my finger, and the damn thing nipped me right there in the nose.
Oh my God.
So I knocked on the door. I said, "Have your dogs had their rabies shots? I just want to be sure." She said, "Yeah, they had them in May."
Did he make you bleed?
No, it kind of broke the skin a little bit in one spot, but it didn't really. It kind of
Damn, Keith has rough luck with animals, man. He goes out there and pets the dog. The dog.
Well, I let it sniff my fingers a couple other times. The darn thing sit out there and bark. You've heard them on here.
Oh yeah, I've heard them on there.
And so I thought, well, maybe if they get used to me, they won't bark all the time. And
it nips the hell out of you. I bet you won't do that shit.
I was like, hey.
And then now your cats bite you too. So damn, Keith gets nut.
That's because I do this.
Okay.
She hates us.
And how about Tim? Do you get bit by animals, Tim?
I don't see any animals to get bit by any animals. Thank God. Thank God my mom's dogs don't bite me. So.
Yeah.
And Alex, I guess your McDonald's versus Burger King. I would probably go Burger King with the lunch and dinner menu. McDonald's with the breakfast menu.
I kind of don't care for Burger King. Well, some of their burgers are okay, but not.
I like
the Whopper's
overrated.
overrated.
I like Whopper because I like your mayonnaise on it. What else? Breakfast? Which one? Oh, I like Hardee's breakfast the best.
Wendy's is good. Yeah. Wendy's is got good breakfast.
Hardee's.
Oh, Hardee's? Oh, I like Wendy's. We don't have a Hardee's.
There ain't a Hardee's within shouting distance here in Ohio.
And then Keith, do you all have what's Hardee's down there? It's called something else.
Oh, Carl's Jr.
No, it was called Hardee's. It's not Carl Jr. Well, they had one in the next town over, Pineville, but it's closed up in the last year or so.
So the nearest
we just
Sonic
got our
for
first,
me is like 25 minutes away. I'm like, no.
We just got our first Whataburger here in Alexandria within the last couple of weeks, and it's got 2 lines going around it, and they are full all the time.
Whataburger's the bomb, boys. When you can go get a hamburger at 9:30 in the morning, that's the shit. That is the shit. When you can go actually get a hamburger, not some kind of chicken, not some kind of egg and something. You can actually get a hamburger. You can get a burger.
Not just sausage or something.
You can get a real true burger at 10 o'clock in the friggin' morning, 9:30, whatever. Oh, I loved it when I was in Texas. I was like, shit, yeah.
How would you score it on 100 scale?
They were good, man. They were real. I liked them a lot. Their cheese was different. I don't know.
How about Darla? Will she score Whataburger?
Darla has never went to Whataburger.
Darla's never done that.
Now, if we go to Louisiana, if we go down to Texas, I'll get her to try Whataburger. Yeah. Now I've tried White Castle and their shit. They a bunch of garbage.
Yeah, they've closed up all their theirs in Ohio. So
they're trash.
I don't even know what that is. Is that even?
It's essentially their sliders.
Yeah.
But
they're about this,
are those like soybeans or something or what?
They're about this big and they're 69 cents each. No lie. Yeah.
Are they made out of cat and dog?
McDonald's laughs at them. They're like, oh, at least we can sell that for a buck anyway. You sell that little shit right there for 69 cents.
Yeah, I mean, the patty's a lot bigger for McDonald's than White Castle.
What do you say, Tim?
The patty's a lot bigger. I think 4 ounces for McDonald's compared to like 2 ounces for White Castle.
Yeah. What'd you say, Keith?
Well, White Castle's probably doing their own kind of laughing with how much they're making over the cost of the ingredients.
Oh yeah. They same way with Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
Chick-fil-A. Now I don't know how they are where you live.
Mm-hmm.
They're lined up through the day here.
Yeah, it's essentially good luck.
Yeah, and they're just building a new one, and I'm like, if
now I do like their sauce. I don't know if I can show this on here, but I do like this stuff.
Do you?
Yeah, I've had that. That's pretty good.
Chick-fil-A, to me, if anybody ever had a chance to buy a business and start a business, how can you do any better than that? Chick-fil-A, all right, what can you tell all your employees? You're off Sunday. Yep. You don't have to work Sunday. Never have to work Sundays. All right? Now we'll be open this many days. You know, we're open 6 days a week, and we're going to rock. We're going to rock, and every one of them we go to in Lynchburg, there's only 2 in Lynchburg. We're going to have a third one soon. They're always the cleanest people, the neatest people, the nicest people, and sometimes they stand out in rain with a umbrella on, taking your order. So they're holding a little computer in their hand.
Tablet. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'm thinking to myself, you know, these people are awesome right here. They really are. They do a good job, and and a lot of them are like university kids. But man, oh man,
you weren't a big fan of their fries, though, right?
I don't like their wheel fries. Dar does. Darlene loves them. Yeah, I like the chicken at Zaxby's better. A big reason is they toast the bread. They put the butter in it and then get it brown around the edges. But I don't want none of the sauce on none of them. I don't want sauce on the chicken. I don't like barbecue chicken. I don't want barbecue chicken no time. I can eat chicken sometime, but I'm real picky about my chicken, man. But yeah, I don't want no kind of barbecue sauce. I don't want no kind of sweet and sour. I don't want no honey and mustard. None of that shit. No. I would rather just eat it plain.
Guys, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I'm trying to game time decision-ish for playing pinball at 3. I didn't exactly go to church this morning either, so.
Okay. We got you, man. Yeah. Did you play pinball yesterday or was it today?
No, that would have been that's today. I'll see if I can make it there by 3.
Yeah, man. Good luck to you.
All right, if I go. If not, then
if you go one time, video it. See if you can make a little video. Show us what you can do.
All right.
All right. Have a good one, my friend.
All right.
See
Take
you
care.
Tuesday. And so I'm going to go in here. I think myself, I got me a cup of coffee by Bose. www.bose.com. The best speakers money can buy. Bose.
Unpaid advertisement brought to you by Rob.
Unpaid with Bose. If you see this, Bose, please send me money. And
an affiliate of the Jabroni Network.
Definitely an affiliate of the Jabroni Network. And if Bose sees this, send me funds, and I will drink water. I'll drink dirty water. I'll drink clean water. I'll drink Pepsi. I'll drink Mountain Dew. I'll drink 7-Up. I'll drink. Who knows what I might have in it.
Opinions expressed here are not necessarily those of your Jabroni Network.
Yeah, that's it. You got it. I'll probably try to be back on here about 6:30, 7 o'clock this evening. Especially, we'll probably have 8 upsets today, and today will be upset weekend. Yeah, Keith's gonna be home for this week or whatever. So
yeah. Couple weeks now.
Yeah, so
which I gotta book that next trip before.
We gotta actually try to book us something, or we gotta figure out what we're gonna do for Christmas too. For Keith, my name's Rob. Y'all have a great one. Bye bye.